How's everybody doing today? What we're going to do today is talk about inserting different things into a document, inserting shapes, maybe even inserting a picture. We are going to have just a tiny bit of a review first, which deals with changing font, font size, font color. I might have covered a little bit of that in an earlier video, but I wanted to just touch on it again. To change your font color or size or the type of font you want to use is real easy. I'm just going to highlight some text here. I highlighted my name, and if I want to change the color, I could just go up here. I click on this arrow next to the A icon, which is the color palette, and I say, okay, maybe I want this in blue right now. I could move down here and change this to red. So pretty much whatever color I want, I can implement in there. Other thing I can do quite easily is I can select the type of font that I'd like. My favorite's Times New Roman, so if I change this to Times New Roman, it takes on that font. If I want to change the size of the font, again, I highlight the area that I'd like to affect, and I select a size. So I can pretty easily change the color, the size, the type. Remember, we can also add bold, italic, underline, strike through, any of those. So that's a pretty straightforward type thing. The other thing I might have mentioned in another video is the format painter. Once you have a number of things done to a particular spot on your document, here I've got this Times New Roman size 22. I've got it in a different color. If you want to take that and just apply it to another block of your document, you can use the format painter. I've got this highlighted now, so I'm going to click on format painter. And now when I go down and I click to the left of some text to highlight it, it applies all those attributes to that block of text. So a lot of times you'll have a title or something in a report that's going to be repeated again and again and again. And instead of you having to go through and make those 3 or 4 changes, just use the format painter. You can make all the changes at once. Some other things I wanted to talk about today are inserting different things into your document. This is kind of fun. You can insert shapes. So pretty much all these shapes you have available to you, you can kind of spice up your documents with. Start out with a smiley face. I click on it. What happens, you notice my cursor now looks different. It's a little crosshair cursor instead of my regular arrow. That's telling me it's ready to draw this. So what I do is I get to the point where I want it. Let's say I want my smiley face right here. I click down now and I drag. You notice I can, as long as I'm holding my right mouse key down and dragging, I can make this thing as big or as little as I want. As soon as I let go of it, it places it there. Now I'm not done with it yet, meaning if I got it in the wrong spot or I decide I want it a little bit bigger, I can click on it again. Notice if I have the 4 arrow cursor picture, it's a movement one. It says it's ready to move it. If I grab onto any of these little sizing buttons that appear pretty much surrounding the thing, I can resize it. I'm clicking and I drag it out, it gets bigger. I could like drag this one out, give them like kind of a wide, spooky looking smiley face. I don't like that, so I'm going to drag it back in. But you get the idea. I can move it all around. I can resize it whenever I want. And if I go back to insert shapes, you notice there's just a ton of different shapes around. I mean, I could insert arrows. A lot of times I use this in documents I create. Like I want to point to something, so I'll have some text down here and I'll point to it up there using an arrow. The other thing that we can do that's pretty easy, if you have any JPEGs or BMP pictures on your computer, you can play around with this. You can insert a picture. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to click on Picture. And for me, I know I've got some on my desktop. And I've actually got some fishing pictures. This is a good fishing picture. So actually what I want to do is I'm going to insert that. And there it is. It kind of came up. I probably should have pre-positioned my cursor where I wanted it. But for now, that'll be okay. So I inserted my picture. My smiley face is part of it now. I could resize this picture if I want. just like I did with my smiley face. So now I've got a big northern pike here and a smiley face, and if I wanted to say insert another shape, say an arrow, and then say, okay, this is killer pike, I could do that. Pretty much get to mix and match. You can add symbols, you can add pictures, you can change your font size, type, color. So it's real easy to spice up your documents and just add a lot of bells and whistles. Kind of fun. Anyhow, hopefully this video worked out for you. We'll see you next time.